Good afternoon, welcome to Adweek Europe with me, Andy Johnson. We've been hearing about this amazing VR project that the BBC is very much involved in. I'm delighted to say we've got Tom Burton here from the BBC to talk to us about this.
Hi,
Tom,
Andy.
it sounds very exciting, and it's due to launch, we hope, next month. Tell me a bit more about it.
Hopefully launching next month. I mean, it's actually been doing the rounds for the past nearly 18 months now. It's just a full physical experience at a variety of venues across the globe. It's been an incredible learning experience for us and the BBC to find out more about what this technology can do. It's been a labour of love. But it's coming off in terms of actually, a lot of practical aspects about it. It's really giving us a real firm case study. We built it very much with the experience in mind. So, we've got the haptics, we've got feedback. A lot of stuff that at the time people were looking at me going, are you crazy? But actually now is paying dividends in terms of the experience and people wanting to exhibit it and show it. And now we're finally at the point where we can hopefully get it onto both Oculus and Steam stores. And we'll also have, as part of a package of content that I really wanted to test the feasibility and the veracity of, a series of 360 videos, which will be rendered super high def out of the experience. And a bit of an exclusive, we're also going to have a series of astronauts. So we've got some incredible astronauts. All your favourites are in there, with the exception of a few people who are maybe getting on a bit, who are going to be talking about their experience of being in space. So, you can put your egg and cress sandwich down for 5 minutes at lunch, step into the space capsule and gaze down on Earth and have a little listen.
So couch potatoes like me, you can feel we're in space.
This is it. You can be one of those, those superhuman athletic specimens that go to space.
Thank God for VR, that's all I can say. Knowing the BBC as well as I do, it takes an awful long while to get a meeting arranged. It takes an awful long while to get all the people in the same room for the meeting.
Yes.
How on earth have you managed to pull this off in fairly quick time?
By avoiding people.
Good move.
In all good essence, I think it always helps if you're doing something new, because it takes a bit of time for bureaucracy and people to catch up, but actually, the BBC is a hugely creative space. I mean, it's the most creative company I've ever worked at. I was lucky enough, and we are lucky enough at the BBC, to have have a senior sponsor in the shape of a guy called Chris Sizemore, and Learning in general at the BBC, who paid for this. Who just, they had trust in what we were doing. They really gave us the reins to get on with it. And then the huge support of all the other staff, actually legal, editorial policy, all of them really interested to see how we tackle it.
The great thing, obviously, as well, with it being the BBC, it's going to be available to everybody.
Exactly, yeah. Isn't it a wonderful thing? It's something, to be honest. I've been at the BBC for a relatively short period of time, just under 2 years. I come from the commercial world before that. And it is something that, it is a great deal of pride. And I think an important duty that the BBC has, that, okay, it needs to tread carefully in this technology. It can't go around spending fortunes of money on things when not so many people can see it. But actually, it also has the ambition to make sure that on behalf of the public, that it starts to suss out and offer an alternative to just the commercial operators in terms of making this
In
stuff.
some ways, is this a bit of a Trojan horse to show that the BBC can do this incredible stuff? And once you've done, and you obviously are going to prove you can do this, who knows what comes next?
Well, yeah, exactly, isn't it? I mean, the BBC's going to take, we've been around, we're long in the tooth. We've been around for 80 years. We pretty much invented television as we know it. I'd like to think that we can play a pretty significant role in this, but equally, we're an old head and we're shrewd. We're not going to start rushing at stuff. We're not going to do it unless we feel it's to the same level of quality that we know our audiences expect. And that's storytelling, graphics, everything else. So gently does it, but we're in it.
What's next?
Good question. So, again, like I say, I think going back to, there's a lot of R&D to be done, isn't there? I think there's an argument to be said we could all do with giving ourselves slightly tighter briefs, starting to look a little bit more closely at kind of some of the detail around what this means, starting to have conversations around the ethics of VR, starting to have conversations around children in VR, all of these things, and I'd like to think that the BBC can play a significant role in that. And then for me personally, I've got several other VR projects cooking along now. Not a lot that I can talk about openly, but
go on.
Some really nice. There's one at the moment, a really lovely edutainment piece on a, shall we say, a popular mobile platform. and it's I'm kind of really excited to see what it turns into.
Well, fascinating to talk about it. Thank you very much for talking to us about it as well, and good luck with the launch sometime in the next BBC month.
Yes, no problem at all. Thank
Cheers,
you
thanks very much, Tom. Really exciting times, and of course we'll look out for that in the next month, and keep hold of us and keep chatting to us on #AWEurope.